Hi, and welcome to the I Have Cancer Now What podcast. This is the first episode, and this podcast is for anyone who've heard the words no one ever expects to hear. My name is Gregory Jacob, and I am not a doctor. I am a survivor. I am a believer. I am a husband, a father, a grandfather, and a man who has walked through the shock, the fear, the confusion, and the fight that comes with a cancer diagnosis. I've created this space because I remember those first hours and days and what they felt like, the questions I had, the silence, the weight, and the feeling that life just split in two before and after. This podcast is where we slow everything down, and it is where we breathe again. It is where you get clarity, strength, and direction. And it is where you learn how to fight spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally, with faith leading the way. Whether you're newly diagnosed, supporting someone you love, or rebuilding your life after treatment, you're in the right place. You're not alone. You're not powerless, and you're not done. Now, let's talk about why this podcast exists and the mission behind it. The mission of this podcast, I Have Cancer Now What, exists to restore power, clarity, and hope to anyone who's just heard those words. You have cancer. Through faith, practical strategies, and survivor led truths, and real conversations about healing, identity, nutrition, movement, and sexual health, and the purpose and your purpose. This podcast guides listeners through the first hours, days, and months after they heard those words. You have cancer. It helps you move from fear to fight, from confusion to confidence. This is episode 1. And so I've already introduced myself, and I have a smile on my face because I have joy that's so deep down inside of me that a cancer diagnosis can't pull it away, can't take it away. And so as we go through this episode and as we learn how to fight, how to heal, how to eat, feed your body, how to have movement daily, and how to have purpose, how to have a mission. I want to just acknowledge that I know what it feels like. I know the pain and the suffering, the heartache, the pain that you go through when the doctor tells you that you have cancer. I never in a million years thought I would ever hear those words, but I heard them and I had to deal with it. And when you hear something like that, you don't realize it, but you're going through a traumatic experience, trauma. A big load of trauma was just dropped on you. And you have to accept that, right? You have to be able to understand that you've just been through a traumatic experience. And so we'll talk about trauma more in the future, but when you go through trauma, you need to heal from that initial trauma. And then you can start healing your mind, your body, and your spirit. When I was first diagnosed, I talked with my doctor told me, hey, you have prostate cancer. I looked to the right side of me, and my wife was there holding my hand. She was just crying and feeling horrible. But for me, everything just kind of stopped. And I was like, I have cancer. It's like everything was in slow motion. And so I looked at my wife, helped her out, held her hand stronger. Then my eyes went immediately back to the doctor to listen to the next things he was about to say. Because the things that he was about to say next was going to determine everything. And he said, don't worry, you'll die from something else long before you die from cancer. And you have prostate cancer, it's on your prostate. And if once we get the prostate out, you won't have cancer anymore. So I thought. So I felt good about that. And something inside of me was saying that the doctor does not have the final say. And this brings me to a time when I opened my first Subway restaurant. I remember sitting in the banker's office, and the banker was telling me, hey, you've been approved for the loan, 7-year loan, this interest rate, this amount of payments you're going to have to pay monthly. And I had something inside of me at that time as well. And it said that it's not going to take you 7 years to pay this loan back. And I told the banker, I said, I'll pay this loan back in 3 years. It won't take me 7 years to pay it back. And so, and it did. It didn't take me 7 years. I paid it back in 3 years exactly. And so that's what I felt inside of me when I heard the doctor say you have cancer. I felt a faith. I felt a strength that no matter what that doctor said after you have cancer, that I know that my God was not going to leave me and allow cancer to take me out. And so I'm appreciative of Elohim, the God I serve. He's always there with me. And so those first 24 to 72 hours they were rough. Even though I had the faith to believe that this wasn't gonna kill me, and the doctor second that would it second that, I still was hurting. I still was in pain. I still was wondering, like, what did I do to deserve cancer? What could I have done to prevent it cancer? And I mean, the real answer is not much, nothing. You see, our bodies heal all kind of things in us that we don't know about. And there are times when we get sick, when cancer starts to develop, where our body just didn't do the job that it was supposed to do. Now, it could be from a lot of reasons: the kind of food you eat, not getting enough sleep, not drinking enough water, not eating enough vitamin A, B, C, or D. It could be from anything. But for some reason, uh, my body allowed cancer to spread. And the good thing is, I was talking to a prostate cancer survivor, and he was like, well, prostate cancer is the best cancer a man could get, because you you have a good chance of living from it and not dying. And though that is true, Black men have a twice as likely chance of dying from prostate cancer than anybody. And we have a twice as likely chance to get cancer. The thing that was striking to me, what my doctor told me, was that my prostate was 90% covered with the cancer. And I was only 41 years old. So the average age for a prostate cancer survivor is for prostate cancer diagnosis in a man is the age 67. And here I am, Black, African American, 41, and diagnosed with prostate cancer. So those are some things that shouldn't happen, because the doctor was sure that it wasn't cancer, but it turned out to be. And so just going through all of those motions, like, am I going to be one of these people who actually died from it because I'm not supposed to have it? So those are questions that you have. Even though my faith is strong, my mind still goes. My mind still wanders about different things, different pains, different hurts. But don't talk about when I found out that I have a history of prostate cancer. Wow. Now that hit me in the stomach, because I went back to all of those times when I was in doctor's appointments and they asked me, do you have history of cancer? You have history of this? Nope, nope, and nope. And so maybe if I would have told those doctors, hey, that I have a family history of prostate cancer, maybe they could have checked earlier. Maybe they could have seen it earlier. Maybe I could have went on this journey that I'm on now earlier, in the earlier stages, and started this alkaline diet that I'm on, or this alkaline way of life, because it's not a diet, it's a way of life now. And so that was very telling for me. That was very hurtful to me, that I had a family history of prostate cancer. And so I guess advocacy my first advocacy was just calling everybody in my phone and telling them, hey, I have prostate cancer, go get yourself checked. We do have a family history. Nobody's told you that, but I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be there for you. So out of all the people I called one of my cousins. He lives in Florida now, and man, uh, he he went to the doctor and told the doctor that we have a family history of prostate cancer. And guess what? He had it too and didn't know it. And so I was able to help my cousin. I was able to help my cousin find out he had prostate cancer before it spread it, and they caught his in the early stages. And so just that advocacy of just calling people on the phone and talking to them and sharing my story helped my cousin um, find out he had prostate cancer. And look, he's a former NFL athlete, former Florida State football player, and he has prostate cancer. And so those first 24 to 48 hours was me going through the process of being down, being up, serving people. So I am a faith-led servant leader who wants to help men heal, rebuild, and walk in their God-given purpose. And so if I could do that with one person, then I've done my job, right? So out of all the people that I've talked to, if I could help one person, then I've done my job. But God, but my God is a multiplier, right? So if I'm talking to one person, then guess what? I'm gonna go talk to some other people, and I'm gonna multiply the effects. So if I talk to 10 people and one of them has prostate cancer, then I'm gonna talk to hundreds and thousands of people because I want to help somebody on their cancer journey. You have to have a good relationship with your doctor. I remember going into my doctor's appointment and telling my doctor that I forgot what the issue was, and she asked me, "Do you have these symptoms? This, that?" And I was like, "Well, no, I don't have those symptoms." And she was like, "Okay, um, okay, well, I'll make sure you can get this test." And so in my mind, I'm thinking that she wrote the right things on my prescription to make sure I'm able to get this test done. And that's because of a relationship I have with my doctor. And it came back that everything was fine, but she cared about me enough as a person to make sure I get the test that I need when I need it. And so have a good doctor. Don't be afraid of getting a second opinion, right? So I had a second opinion. So make sure you get a second opinion. Don't just let what one doctor say, uh, you take that as written in stone. Ask them, say, hey, do you mind if I get a second opinion? And if they're a good doctor, they'll be like, yeah, please go get a second opinion. And go get that second opinion. So make sure you have a good relationship with your doctor. Make sure your spouse is on board with you. Um, a family member or somebody who you could trust on and depend on, who you could cry on their shoulder. And make sure you have a good support team. Make sure you have other people that you could talk with. And so that was a major gap when I was diagnosed, when I was uh, released from my doctor's care and told to come back 3 months, then 6 months, then 12 months. There was a gap that this podcast is birthed from. I want to be able to fill in that gap when you get diagnosed, when you get released from treatment and the doctor tell you go home. I want to fill in that gap because the support system during that time is very crucial to who you are as a person and your walk and your survivorship. Like, how are you going to uh, survive if you don't have that support in those gap times, right? And so make sure you have a good relationship with your doctor, your spouse, or someone who you trust to be there with you, and then a support group. So I want to be a support group. I just recently talked with a support group at Walter Reed Hospital, and those men had a lot of good questions. Some of them was just uh, fresh from surgery. Some of them were uh, just there because they liked the support that they received, and so it's have a good support group. My mind, what was the mind shift, right? What shifted my mind? So after my surgery, the doctor said that the cancer was gone. So my mind didn't shift yet. Uh um I did not have a mind shifting moment after the surgery. Um Everything was normal, you know, even uh even though my orgasm changed dramatically, I still had a climax experience feeling that was like, okay, good. And so I didn't have a mind shift. I just had to deal with the fact that um I didn't have a prostate anymore. um, some other physical in some other physical things that happen, like losing length, and losing length. I'll just say it like that. But you lose an inch or two after your prostate is gone, because that and where it is positioned, it helps um, your erections. It helps you have a longer erection, and once you lose that prostate, then it you lose an inch or two. And so I didn't have those issues, but as time went on, I started having those issues. Life started happening. Uh, that support is not there. Your spouse might be, hey, you all right? Go put the trash out. Go do this. Go do that. And just life start happening, and and stuff happens. And then you start to struggle. Then ED, which you didn't have or experience before, start to happen, and you get into a depressive state, and you don't feel that support that you once felt. And so my mind changing uh moment did not come until almost 4 years later. And it was after after my first couple of PSAs did not were negative. They didn't show. But then my next three started to increase a little bit. And then after two of them increased a little bit, then they had a bigger spike up. And my doctor said, well, he's seen this before. Or my PA said he's seen this before. And he said, if it keeps rising like this, you'll have to have radiation to kill those cells. What cells? Well, the prostate cancer cells. But I don't have a prostate. How are the cells still there? That's when my mind shifted. You mean to tell me that my prostate's gone? The doctor told me once it's gone, prostate cancer is gone, but I still have the cells? Bing. That's when I took in my mind, I asked the PA, I said, is there anything I could do to avoid radiation? And he was like, well, you're not close to it yet, but no. Basically, he said no. There's nothing you could do. I was like, is there some literature, some books that I could read? And he was like, I have a book that you could read. Um, and he started to tell me about the Western diet and how a lot of stuff that goes on with our bodies with our diets. And so he gave me this book. It's called From uh, Surviving to Thriving. Phenomenal book. That book helped pull out of me the mindset changing, the mindset changing spirit of not allowing cells to break me or take me out of this life. And so as I as I read the book, I realized mission. I realized that people that I know who might have prostate cancer, who might have some issues, they're not going to read this. They're not going to do the research. They're not going to have the money to pay for these supplements on a monthly basis. And I was like, well, I could share my experiences in those ways. I could find alternative for people to not have to pay $130 a month for a bunch of supplements that can help. I could tell them about the foods that they need to eat. I could tell them about the movement that they need. I could tell them about the mission that they need to do, because it's not just about you. God does not put things in our life that's meant to be just for us. It's meant for everybody, and it's meant for you to share. And I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do what Father Elohim has has commissioned me to do. And if that's doing a podcast, if that's standing in front of people sharing who I am, what I've been through, then I'm gonna do it. All right. So time is gone. It's been almost 30 minutes. Wow. And I was nervous about doing this, right? And I was like, I might not have enough to say, but I'm gonna start hitting it, and then at the 30-minute mark, I'll pause it, and then we'll probably do a part two if we need to. But um, why does faith and fight matters from day to day? Well, faith is the key to everything. What you do with your faith, whether you're gonna fight to get better or you're gonna allow the fight to take you out. So every day you gotta believe that you can achieve healing and wholeness with the fight that God put in you. Fight to get the right knowledge in your mind. Fight to get the right food in your mind. Fight in your body. Fight to get the right um, healing. Fight to help other people, even when you don't want to, even when you're so down on yourself. Call somebody, give them encouraging words. Treat people how you want to be treated. Because when you're going through something that is devastating, you want people to call and to talk to you and say, "Hey, let's go hang out. Hey, can I come over? We could talk." Man, I just want to give you a hug. I just want to give you some dap. I just want to be there for you. I just want you to know that you're not alone. And so my mom always taught me, treat people how you want to be treated. And so I'm hoping that this podcast will help people to feel love, to feel like they're important, to feel like they are not alone. All right. And so this is what this podcast is going to teach. All right. And I let me see if I get through this. You know what? I could get through it. I might go over a little. But this is what this podcast is going to teach you: faith, grounding your identity and your spiritual, wait, faith, growing your identity and spiritual strength. When you, that, I'm just going to give you the pillars: fight, the mindset, discipline, and strategies; healing, physical, emotional, and relational healing. Relationships. God put us on this earth to be in relationship. And so I have a relationship with my wife, my kids, and family. But God's like, that's not enough, Greg. You need a relationship with some other men. And since I'm an introvert and I don't go out looking for relationships with other men, God said, I'm going to put you in a situation that you're going to have to go out and search for men who need you, who need what you have in your heart, who needs what's coming out of your mouth to help them to overcome and to grow and to defeat prostate cancer. Meals, alkaline food is anti-inflammatory. Uh, It's surviving meals that you could eat and share with people who are not eating right, who are not eating to live, right? So, oh, I wrote the book, the Alkaline Cookbook for Men, right? And so I've been getting feedback, and most of them say, Greg, this is insane what you're eating. Men not gonna eat. Men are not gonna eat this type of food. And I'm like, okay. It was like, you very disciplined to be doing this. Um, okay. But the thing is, my why is huge. My why is huge. And what is my why? To do what God has called me to do. To love Father Elohim and to love my neighbors. Right? I can't I can't love my neighbors how I want to love them if I'm sick, if I don't have any energy, if my mind is not clear, right? And that's my neighbors. So if I feel that way towards my neighbors, and Father Elohim told me to love my neighbors, then just imagine why I'm doing this for my wife, my kids, my grandkids, my mom, my sister, my nieces, my nephews, my cousins, my friends. So I am disciplined, strong because of my relationship with God. There is no way, there is no way, I want to say hell, but there is no way in hell that I'm going to let my taste buds stop me from being strong, from being present for my family. Now, God might take me out some other kind of way, but it's not going to be because I'm not feeding my body right, because I'm not treating my body right. So it's a challenge. It's not easy. I mean, I've lost over 30 pounds, and not all of those 30 pounds come from me just eating perfect all the time. It's not. Sometimes I didn't like what I cooked, I didn't cook enough of it, and sometimes I just didn't have the food. I might have been tired of eating this, but that's why I love growth so much. I love growth. And I'm working on a easier cookbook for people, and it's gonna be good. It's coming. I'm working on it. Listen, I'm in the lab. I love improvement. I love learning. I am a lifetime. I am uh, a life learner. I love to learn. I love to learn, and I love to grow. I never want to be stagnant. I never want to be in a stagnant place. Um, I I love to learn, and I love to get better. I love to grow. Right. Okay. So movement, exercise. What am I doing daily? Like, I'll give you what I do daily. It's what I'm gonna call it. It's I'm gonna just tell you what it is. So I do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and 50 squats daily. I do that daily. Now, do I do it every day? No. Sometimes I miss. Sometimes, excuse me. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do 100 though. Sometimes I do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. Um. So yeah. So movement, move daily, drink enough water. Oh my gosh. I've been sharing with some people about just health stuff, right? One of the most important things that we need to do is drink water. Oh my gosh. When I used to hear that, I used to be like, "Y- water? Like, what is water going to do? Right? I'm going to tell you what water does, spring water or alkaline water. I've invested to have an alkaline water coming out of the tap in my house, and I have spring water. So I I started drinking water in the morning, maybe 12 ounces, sometimes 32 ounces. But let me tell you what it has done for my body. No cap. It has really ignited everything in my body. Drinking water, right? Oh my gosh. I used to have dry skin. I used to have uh dry scalp. Since I've been drinking water, like regularly drinking it, my skin is not dry. I don't have dry scalp, and guess what? I don't feel bloated. I don't feel my body feels good. And one reason that I think that the reason that I feel good is because when I drink water, it flushes everything out of me. When I was first started my alkaline diet and I was just drinking water and eating here and there, I was having uh number twos. I was having number twos like 3 to 4 times a day. I was having number twos so much that I called my doctor. I said, Doc, is something wrong with me if I have number twos after every meal I eat and in between sometimes? My doctor laughed and she said, No, no. She said, that's a great thing. She said, before we started putting all of these chemicals in our foods, that was what people did. When after they eat, they would go have a number two and they'd be ready to go. And so drink water. That's one of the number one things you need to do when you want to heal your body. Uh, the second one is the second to last one is missions. Missions have a purpose for you and for the people who are around you. Be mission minded. I'm gonna tell you the best thing that you could do when you're dealing with something is to walk with somebody who's dealing with that too, or walk with somebody who's dealing with something worse than you. It'll give you such a a a, a vision of what you should be doing with your life. You're gonna feel good about it. You're gonna feel like everybody who you come across, you have something to share with them. You have something to tell them, some good, positive stuff. And guess what? It's going to come back to you. I'm not saying do it so it could come back to you. I'm saying do it because it's going to make you feel good and you're going to encourage somebody else. And that's one of the things, that's my hope that, this 40-minute podcast, first podcast, is helpful to somebody. Because somebody needs to hear that you're not alone. I wish I could sing, but you are not alone. You're not defeated. You're not done. You're right where God wants you to be. Faith, fight, and heal. All right. And lastly, the podcast will talk about sexual health. For me, everything I do is surrounded around my sexual health. The foods I eat, the exercises I do, um, it's for my sexual health. Because when your prostate is gone, that is a huge, huge, so small, but a huge part of your sexual health. And so now your body has to ooh, your body has to make up for it in other places. And you're gonna have to help your body make up for it in other places. So make sure if you're listen, for men, if your sexual health is good, then it's a great chance that your overall body is good. But if you start to suffering from ED, if and you don't have, and it's not because of prostate cancer, then you have some body issues that needs to be dealt with, right? If you are not having morning erections, then something's going on somewhere. Not having a morning erection is a leading indicator of a man that could possibly have a heart attack, right? Because your blood flow is not working right. So this podcast will talk about sexual health, um, and I've written a book about it. Everything that I've been through with prostate cancer, I've written about it because I don't want men to feel like there's no answer, there's no support, because I have it. I have the book is called, this is my last book, final book. I don't believe that I'll be writing any more books. I'm gonna write another book about a recipe book about a better recipe book for people who not as disciplined as me. I am gonna write another recipe book, but the last book that I wrote is called Tried and Approved Restoration. And it is, let me get it. It is a 90-day protocol for sexual healing, building confidence, and growing in your God-given abilities. And so I think I'm gonna stop right there. I just want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not powerless, and you're not done. You can follow me at not follow, I mean you can follow me on YouTube. I would like this to, oh yeah, yeah. People say this all the time, so I want to say it too. Can you help me get this podcast to 1,000 likes? Right? Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm doing a podcast, right? But can you help this video get 1,000 likes? I know it's long. But if you watch it all the way through the end, it's helpful. So listen, like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I said it. Like, share, and subscribe. I had prostate cancer. My PSA is increasing a little bit, but I go back to the doctor next month, and I'll have an update for you because I'm on a mission, and my mission is to help men heal, walk in a God given talents and abilities, and not feel like they're alone. So join me, check out my website, triedandapprove.com. Uh, check me out on Amazon, type in Gregory Jacob Jr. You'll see the things that I have, and I have more things coming, more to come. Thank y'all. Y'all have been great. Thank you for listening. And my goal is to do this once a week, so 4 times a month. Um, to have this podcast to share and to uplift and to help men heal. and walk in their God-given ability and talents. Peace. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.